Pods Prime.
One type of game that I really love are these cooperative butcher, murder, anything that isn't a teammate game. Anything like Dark Tide or Killing Floor 2. And then further back as a kid we've got Left 4 Dead 2 and Call of Duty Zombies.
Sounds like someone breaking in!
Just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
Now, a decade or more later, we have Helldivers 2 to rely on for a bit of cheap fun with our friends. The sense of humour in this game still gets to me. Every new stupid line of dialogue I get from this Muppet as I select a mission just feels so perfectly goofy.
Are a crumb. The lives of humanity's future, a boundless loaf.
And when you drop directly into a battle, ready to liberate, and you start blasting enemies to pieces, you see there's actually some really solid gameplay to back it up as well. Mixed in with all of the team kills and accidental deaths to your own stratagems. And these fucking turrets that do not give a shit about what is in front of them. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're actively programmed to murder as many Helldivers as they can. You love these ridiculous dive animations, and the ragdoll, and the dismemberment, giving you that satisfying visual feedback to make it feel like you're shooting real projectiles that are hitting real things. Find shooting down the transports particularly satisfying, even if the debris does tend to turn into a bit of a buggy mess of wreckage that enemies can just phase through. And using the grenade launcher or machine gun to cut down a horde of enemies does feel really good. As you probably know, one of the main features of this game are the stratagems. Not only are they a lot of fun, but they fit in well with the game's sense of humour, giving each of these Helldivers access to a ridiculous amount of firepower. They also allow these elite shock troops to take on the most dangerous threats in the galaxy, along with providing the player with many different tools to get creative and come up with fun and unique ways of killing things. But I think this is where I start to begin focusing on a few of the negatives, because I don't really want to make videos just mindlessly gushing over video games. These are just my honest thoughts, and chances are, if I made a video on it, then I really enjoyed the game to begin with. And feel free to comment if you disagree. But if all you wanted to hear was positivity about Helldivers 2, then it's time for you to kindly piss off. Don't get me wrong, it is a highly entertaining game, which I do have a lot of fun playing, but it is far from perfect, and at times it can be downright annoying.
Oh god, one came through the wall.
And I feel like that's usually a signal that I've played the game too much for today. When the humour begins to wear off a bit, revealing more of the repetitious mission and map design, as the tedious grind for war bonds sees you play the game far longer than I think the game stays fun for in each session, if you want enough super credits. And I understand, with the low price tag, they try to make profit elsewhere to satisfy some crustacean in a suit somewhere salivating at the possibilities, now having 20 million people enjoying the hard work of these highly talented developers. Still, the success of the game far exceeding what they originally even hoped for, does come across as free-to-play style milking, and this always makes games feel much more shallow than they actually are, spreading unlockable content over the most paper-thin serving, meaning some of it isn't even accessible at all, which can be especially bad for Helldivers, since the creativity of these kits you put together is obviously heavily reliant on how many of these war bonds you have unlocked. Only now, after 200 hours, do I feel like I have a solid selection of kit to choose from and ways to play. And as you get to the higher difficulties, your choices become more limited, as less effective weapons just aren't good enough to warrant using. Certain loadouts are also only viable single player. Things like fire and gas specialised kits will often kill your teammates far too quickly, force them to use up valuable stims every time their suit can bust into flame from standing on a patch of embers. And I know I said earlier in the video that I love the ragdolls, and I still do,
Stamping the shit out of me!
but it can get obnoxious, especially after experiencing Cyberstan. You know, I'm not fucking shocked. 200 million Helldivers apparently died in that madness. I wonder how many of them dropped straight into a grinder off the rip.
Another triumph for managed democracy. May liberty guide your safe extraction.
And these Vox machines. Jesus.
Actually spawning fire both of my rockets and then die.
Especially on Blitz mode, just running for my fucking life around the 200 meter wide map, trying my best to avoid being locked into some kind of animation where you can't stim and die while stratagems complete the mission. Also, for a game like this, the reload system is horribly finicky. Every stagger, ragdoll or dive cancel the animation, so you have to keep pressing the reload button 8 or 9 times until it actually gets a chance to finish. As negative as I have been about it during the second half of this video, the amount of funny moments I've had with my friends in the community.
Got it, Chief! Jump! Floor it! Right into the hangar!
And the gameplay itself, which I think are worth experiencing. So, if you are the type of person who wants absolute control over the outcome of every step you make, or if you're after perfectly smooth and precise gameplay, you might find things like the constant ragdolls, the silly deaths, and the general bugginess a bit too much to bear.
What the fuck?
But if you're just looking for some goofy cooperative fun with enormous explosions, then you'll probably really enjoy Helldivers too.